gonna start recording.
All right.
3, 2, 1. Hello, D.
Hi.
How are you? I'm doing okay. I'm doing just fine.
Awesome. I'm very nervous.
Yeah, it's like it's usually you'll be nervous for like the first minute or so, but once you get into the conversation, it's
okay. I just want to let everybody know this is my first podcast ever.
It's weird because like you're the 27th one I think that I've done. Yeah,
really?
27th.
Cool.
And nope, 28th. Shit. Yeah. Wow. So you're 20th. It's almost. Don't even fucking. But I haven't had many people who's their first podcast in a while, so
really?
It's reminding me of like the first couple episodes where everything was like super new and fresh and whatnot.
Yeah, but, like, the nerves are in.
Yeah,
it's like my palms are getting sweaty. I'm just like, is this normal?
Yeah, it is. So I guess I don't know if you want to introduce yourself and kind of like what you do. I kind of have a very shallow summary, I guess, of it. But you would know better than I would, so. I don't know if you want to just tell people like what you're all about.
Yeah, my name, I don't know, do I talk to like a certain camera?
Yeah, you can talk to whichever camera. The premise of the show is that you are having a conversation with me, so ignore the cameras.
I'm going to ignore the cameras. So I'm just like... Well, yeah, my name is Florian. I'm a tattoo artist, and how we met was at Jungle. Trained Muay Thai and now getting into jiu-jitsu.
Hell yeah.
And I've been vegan for 4 years, which is what we're going to be mostly talking about.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's pretty much a rundown of me. I like to travel. I like to eat a lot.
I think when you're like doing like a lot of physical stuff, you're kind of supposed to. So yeah. Oh
my God, I'm just like hungry all the time. I'm like, ugh.
That is something I've heard about, like, the vegan diet is like it sometimes you're almost constantly eating to make up for, like, I don't know, like I guess the type of nutrients you would get from like a normal diet, I guess. I don't know if that's true or not, or if that's something that you've noticed that
you definitely eat a lot more because it's less dense on your stomach.
Okay.
So you definitely have a lot more room to fill, like with veggies and stuff like that, rather than meat. Because like a little piece of steak this big can count for like a bowl of fruits and veggies like this big.
Okay.
So you definitely consume a lot more. But I feel like people who are very energetic or into like fitness and stuff have the same problem, like no matter what kind of diet
that's
you're
true.
on. That
yeah. I'm constantly snacking.
Yeah.
So I guess... as a frame, like, what got you into that diet? Like, was it...
I fell down a YouTube rabbit hole.
Okay, all right.
So,
we all have. It's fine.
Yeah, I was just, I started, like, with, like, a few videos that was just, like on animal cruelty, mostly.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, oh, this is so sad. And then, like, just one night, late at night, I was just, like, I had nothing else to do except for... just be on YouTube, I guess, what else?
I literally have a computer literally right on my bed because I do the same thing. So
yeah, and so I was just one video after the other, kind of just kept spiraling, and like the whole night I was just crying. I'm like, this is so sad, and it was just like so much information, and then I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna quit cold turkey, and I did the next day. And it was pretty hard at first, especially because I'm Hispanic. So coming from a Hispanic family,
it's a lot of...
my mom was always just like, you gotta eat this. This is gonna go to waste. You're gonna starve. You're gonna be a toothpick or whatever the case may be. And I have tried to become, like, I was a vegetarian when I was in like elementary school, like 5th grade.
Okay.
It didn't last very long because my mom would just cook chicken and then just put it on the table, and I was like,
okay, I don't want to starve. Yeah.
But now that I was older, like, I knew how to cook for myself, so it was a lot easier to just tell my mom, like, because I still lived with her at the time, and I was just like, I'm not gonna eat this anymore. I'm just gonna eat what I want. You can eat this, and I'll just cook for myself from now on. And yeah, that's kind of how it started.
Okay, I'm sure most people, and I myself included, when I the small bit of like veganism that I've seen or consumed, whether it's been through like Joe Rogan's podcast and like all kinds of other stuff, mostly through podcasts, I think there's not a stigma, but like an expected like type of person when you think of like a vegan. There's like the person that like wants to tell you that they're vegan, like that whole thing, like
the one that gives us a bad name.
Yeah, that's the thing, and that was part of the reason why I was like, oh, she'd be perfect, because like you didn't strike me as that type of person. Like you were just like, yeah, do my thing and whatever. Yeah. So, I guess you mentioned that like the beginning of it was like pretty tough. Like, was there a tough side to the other people, or is there like a community kind of thing around, or is it more of just like everybody's doing their own thing?
There's definitely a vegan community. They're very sweet and stuff. They all have different ideas on how to expand or like say their voice and stuff like that. I'm a person who likes to lead by example, and that's why I don't really like to shove things in people's faces.
That's fair.
I don't think that it's very effective, because a lot of people just, from what I've witnessed, have just gone defensive and don't really listen to you at that point. They're just like, stop talking to me this way kind of thing.
Like, I guess for me, it's not been something that I've said, oh, I'm never going to do it. It's more of like, it's just something I never think about. Like I'll eat whatever. And for the most part, I'm not a very picky eater. It's just, and I guess on one hand, there's I would think it makes sense to do it. Like from a moral standpoint, like it makes sense to do it. I just think people, myself included, like are just comfortable doing it one way. As far as like with Muay Thai and like doing like stuff, like there was your Instagram with you going to like the Grand Canyon that you went to, or
it was like a mini Grand Canyon. It was in Georgia. It was called the Providence State Park, Canyon State Park. And I wanted to go there because I'd never been to the Grand Canyon. So
it's like this close.
Yeah, this is close enough. Let's go.
I can drive here.
Yeah.
So like, do you talked a little bit before, like it's not as dense of a diet. Like,
you definitely don't feel as sluggish or drowsy after eating. You're definitely more energetic. Like, I've noticed a huge difference. Some people, like, there's even a joke about it. When you go vegan, you kind of feel like a superhero because you just have all this energy.
Interesting.
And, like, it's just really cool, and it stays that way. And then you get used to it, so you don't really notice it as much anymore or view it as like, I'm a superhero all the freaking time. But it definitely has helped a lot, because I used to be overweight and I used to struggle a lot with my diet, and it's starting to, it's helped so much, and I'm so grateful for it.
I guess when I asked you to come on, I thought, I was like, oh, maybe I should try it for the time period between then and now, and kind of have my own experience with it, but I haven't done that yet.
Why don't you do an aftermath?
I might. Maybe I get you back on in a couple times and be like, yeah, and then be like, hey, so I've given it a shot. Here's what I think, and then like you can be like, oh, well, you did it wrong.
If you ever have questions, like just contact me. Like I would be more than happy to help. Like I love helping people when they want to learn about that stuff, because that's me giving my education to them, what I can put into, the vegan community, like how I can help others and stuff like that. So I think that would be really cool if you tried it, and I'd be more than happy to help you. I
guess even the way I think about it now is like, I try it, but even saying that, I'm like, well, would I stick with it? It doesn't seem like something I would stick with. It seems like something that like, I'd give it a shot and be like, oh, okay, this is cool. But
I think you have to change your mindset, and also educate yourself. The more you educate yourself, the more you'll find a purpose to stay that way, rather than just like, let me just try this out, like a just whatever kind of diet. Because honestly, it's more as a lifestyle. People who are just doing it for the diet, they're mainly more known as like just going plant-based kind of thing. Because being vegan, there's just so much to it. There's so much you can learn about what it does to the environment, what it does for your health, what it does for other people and the animals and stuff like that. And so people will be like, there's people who are like vegan for the animals, and there's people who are just vegan for what they feel like everything, because there's just so much that goes into it.
What would you describe yourself as?
I started off as vegan for the animals, and now, like, the more I educated myself, I'm more as vegan for everything, because you just learn so much about what it does to this planet.
Like, I don't know if you want to elaborate more on that, because I'm curious as to like what kind of impact. Like, obviously, I've seen like some pretty rough like. There was a video I watched. I was telling my brother about it not that long ago. Of, I guess they were like race horses at some point, and like they were putting them down. It was pretty bad. Like the way that like they kind of corral them and whatnot. I was just like, that's rough. So like I've seen like stuff like that, but there's like I guess a separation that people put between like that and like the food that they eat. Or I think for myself, the big thing is like I justify it in like, oh, well, we're all animals, and animals would do the same. Like carnivorous, that's a word, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. They would go to town on me if given the opportunity. So it's kind of like an equal game thing, but it's not really an equal thing because they don't have guns and we do. But yeah.
And it's like over demand as well. Like those animals are just doing it to survive, and like it's what they have, and we have so much too. Like we have so many options. Like we really don't need to eat any of that stuff.
I guess would you be more? Is it more accepted in like the vegan community to hunt your own food if you're going to go that route? Because that's what I've thought about a lot, because I wanted to get into that, but I have so many like small hobbies that I don't have time to do it yet. I'm gonna make time for it at some point, but yeah.
As a vegan, we just don't.
You just don't? Okay.
Yeah,
that's
because
fair.
it's not necessary. You don't need to eat animals. We have plants, and we have so much that we make from plants too.
Oh, I think your audio might be dropping off there. Hold on. I'm gonna fix it. No, I'm just kidding. Come on. Yes. Done. There we go. Okay. We should be good now. Perfect. All right. Sorry about that. I just noticed that the levels weren't moving, and I was like, or you could probably pull the mic just a little bit closer.
The testing.
Yeah, you're good. All right, cool. So, I guess before I interrupted you, what were you, as far as like the impact on like the world or environment?
Like one of the main things is it's one of the biggest reason for deforestation. Because people think it's like for paper or whatever the cost, but it's honestly for livestock, for over demand and stuff.
Okay.
All those crops are being used for the animals, and they're just killing forests. And another one would be for water waste. It wastes a lot of water to just produce a pound of meat, you know?
What do you mean by like?
They just use a lot of water in factories to create, to, you know, clean and create.
Okay, all right, stuff. Okay.
Yeah, so those are one of like the two biggest issues, and then obviously like overfishing and stuff like that, overhunting. They just cause a huge impact into the world. Global warming, not enough trees.
Yeah. I wonder. This is not me fighting it. It's more of like, I wonder if there is a middle ground where we could get to a point where there is just enough, like not so, because I think in my head it looks like the problem is that there's too much. There's like this overproduction of it. Like if more diets were balanced between both plant-based and meat-based stuff, I think it would. I don't know if it's better, but I think that would be like a middle ground where I think a lot of people would be, okay, well, that's maybe.
It's still pretty bad.
Okay, yeah. No, that's fine.
You know, also like the cows, like just one cow, like their poop produces a lot of gas that's worse than just a car driving by. It produces a lot of CO2, and that's also super bad for the environment. So just trying not to have any of that is even better.
is there? Well, I guess what I meant is not so much like you wouldn't necessarily mass produce. I don't know how the I don't know how the solution. I'm just thinking of a utopic like situation where people can do both, but I don't know if that's possible or viable. Probably not viable with as many people as we have. There's no way to really make it kind of level for everyone. There's just too many of us.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess as far as things now, do you notice like a big difference? Not just energy wise, but like I guess price wise, like how going from like a normal diet to a vegan diet, like
it's cheaper.
Cheaper.
Yeah.
Okay, I've heard the exact opposite from people.
Yeah,
It's
the
way
only
more
thing
expensive.
if it's an exact opposite, it's because they're buying a lot of fake or what's that word? An alternative meat product.
Okay.
So like all the Gardein products, those are pretty expensive.
Okay.
But if you just go like simple plant-based, it's just potatoes, pastas, vegetables. Those are not really expensive, you know. Fruits are not really expensive. It's usually like pounds of meat that are like $15 kind of thing. So when you just buy a lot of alternative meats or alternative products like the cheese and stuff, like that's what makes it pricey. But if you're trying not to eat all those reproduced stuff, you can just do a regular plant-based diet with a bunch of whole foods, and it's super cheap.
Okay. I mean, a lot of this is me asking because I do want to give it a shot and see like how to do it. Like I have my Costco membership and whatnot, and I know they have a lot of like good options there. I have a friend of mine who I've had on before. She was telling me she was vegetarian for 4 years and like vegan for 2, and then she kind of got off of it because I guess she had some kind of health complications or whatever. So. Or maybe it just didn't work out for her. I don't know. But yeah, do you know of like some kind of common reasons as to why people maybe stop, or is it?
I feel a lot of people I'm losing words. What are words today?
I lose them all the time.
I feel like they're not eating enough nutrients. A lot of people go into veganism and they think they can kind of eat the same kind of balanced meal as you were to meat, but you have to consume more and consume more nutrients. So I feel like a lot of people go and they're like missing certain vitamins and minerals that they're not getting. Like omega-3s is one of the biggest ones that people struggle to find.
Okay.
But you can find them easily with like hemp seeds, for example. So I feel like that's when people start to feel like a little sick or sluggish, because if you actually really try and like look up things that are supplement to what you're missing,
right.
It's not, you shouldn't feel any, you should feel amazing.
I'm kind of excited to try it. But it seems, this is me being greedy. I guess it seems like losing all of the things that like my diet right now is very like high protein, like high meaty protein base. Like it's a lot of steak, a lot of chicken, like it's mainly just so easy. I eat like salmon and fish and every now and then. The only reason I don't eat it more is because that guy, my brother, doesn't really eat like fish at all. It would also be a little hard too because the two of us kind of meal prep for each other like throughout the week. So
maybe you can get him into it.
Maybe.
Hey, let's do this.
I don't know if he'd do it though. To be honest with you, man, I want to. I do this a lot where like I'll not talk myself out of stuff, but like I overanalyze things sometimes, and I think I'm doing that. Yep, I'm doing that right now with it when I really should just be like, all right, let's give it a shot.
Yeah,
just
go
and see what
for
happens.
it. Yeah, try not to overthink it. And honestly, you don't have to really give up. Like they have, like if you're really craving chicken, Garden's chicken is super good. The crispy chicken tenders is like my favorite, and they're pretty close to chicken tenders. They're so good.
Okay.
So they haven't really mimicked like hardcore red steak, I guess. But they do have burgers. Their vegan burgers are delicious.
So that reminded me. I've noticed there are there's a couple of like athletes that I've noticed that are vegan, and there's a body type, I guess, that kind of goes with. It's usually like people that are a lot thinner. I have not. I'm sure they exist. Actually, I can think of that Penn from Penn and Teller. I think he went vegan recently, or at least he did at one point. He's a pretty bigger guy, but like most of the ones that come to mind, especially in MMA, like they're usually like welterweight, like feather, like they're usually lower in on like the weight side.
Yeah.
Do you think that if you're trying to maintain a higher weight, would that cause a change in price in terms of like maintaining the diet? Because like I imagine you'd be eating more.
Yeah, you would be eating more.
Yeah.
But that's just like with anything. And if you really want to find like inspiration for body weight and stuff like that, I highly recommend watching Game Changers on Netflix.
Okay.
Arnold Schwarzenegger was a vegan. And they talk about all these, and they show all these athletes, and they're all from different sizes and different shapes. So they're not all like.
I think I've heard of this. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not all lean and lanky kind of thing, you know. And then they have the strongest man in the world who's vegan, and he's on there, and he's just like this short, stocky guy, and it's just
that
like.
I feel like I should know who this guy is because I've seen so many documentaries with him. It's like him and one other guy that's like been feuding for the past couple of years, and I should know his name. But yeah. Shit. Whatever. I can't remember for the last minute. But I guess we may circle back around into it. But I do kind of want to talk about like your tattoo stuff too.
Okay. Cool.
So like, how did that start? Like.
That's like the number one question I get when I'm like tattooing. It's like,
so
everybody just asks that.
What is really strange, or the thing that like kind of when you told me that like you did that, like most tattoo artists have like a lot of tattoos. Yeah. You don't seem to have a lot of tattoos. Yeah. So like when you told me that, I was like, all right, cool, whatever. But how did that start?
Honestly, okay, so I've always been an artist.
Okay.
And I was studying to be a veterinarian, and I just never really thought as art more than just a hobby, because I'm just like, I can't really sell my paintings for a living, like I'll make nothing kind of thing. And my sister
might be able to in the future. Go ahead.
My sister, she's the one who's like always just believed in me and believed in my art. She was like my number one fan.
So nice. Yeah, so sweet.
I know. She's the best. And she has like, she's not really into like the tattoo community because she's only had like 3 or 4 tattoos.
Okay.
But she just thought it was really cool. And we used to watch like Kat Von D on TV and stuff like that. And so she was just like one day telling me that I should just become a tattoo artist. And I was just like, you're crazy. Like, I know nothing about the industry. Like, I don't even have a tattoo. And but she just kept pushing it. She was just like, oh, this would be really cool. And I was just like playing with the idea, like, yeah, it would be cool. But like deep inside, I was like, oh no, I don't think I could do it. It seems so scary. And then one day she just got me a tattoo kit for my birthday. And I was pretty excited, but also just like, what do I do with this kind of thing? Like, do I actually really have to try or something?
What does that usually entail?
A tattoo kit? Mm-hmm. It was just like a thing she got on Amazon, and it was just like these little baby machines and like a fake skin and like little ink caps and like fake ink or whatnot.
I've always wondered about like how someone practices that, because like I was thinking, okay, well there's like animal skins and stuff, but like that's not the same. But like how do you practice that?
Well, there's like they have fake skin that's like made out of rubber. Okay. And you can also practice on pig feet. But I use grapefruit and banana peels as to practice on. And yeah, but that's not the way to go about it.
Okay, all right.
The way to go about it is to go out and get an apprenticeship.
Okay.
But she didn't know it either. Like I had to Google everything, and I was just like, well, what do I do from here?
She's just like, do it.
Yeah, she's just like, here are some tools. Go out and try to do this or whatever. And I remember the moment I was just like really fed up with like work because I was working for like, can I curse on him?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, like the doctor like that I was working for because I was a veterinarian technician. He was such an asshole. So I was just like so fed up with work and like just where my life was. And I was just like, you know, maybe I should just do something crazy and actually try to get an apprenticeship. And then one of my best friends now, she was telling me that she got a tattoo at the shop and that I should go try over there. So I did. I was just like, you know what? I'm going to put a portfolio together of my drawings because that's what I read on Google. But I was also terrified because on Google, they were like, oh, yeah, your apprenticeship is going to be like you're a slave and they're going to treat you like shit. And you're going to scrub the floors with a toothbrush. And I was just like I'm too sensitive for this. So it was really scary. And I was like so nervous when I walked into the shop. But yeah, he already had an apprentice.
Okay.
And so he just told me no. So I was like, oh, okay. And I was just like walking out and he was like, hey, is that a portfolio in your hand? And I was like, yeah. He was like, let me take a look. And I was like, okay, cool, sure. And he was just going through it and he closed it and he was like, when can you come in? And I was just like, what? And so yeah, that's how I got my apprenticeship. And I am very grateful because he is one of the best people that I know. He's such a family man. And he basically like adopted me.
That's really cool.
And I've never had like a terrible experience with him. He was just so sweet and so nice. And like it was just like a small family shop too. It was just him, his wife, and like his kids would come when there was like no school.
Yeah.
So it was a really great experience, and I just fell in love with tattooing from there. And just the moment I started doing my first one and like talking to people and the connections that I've made and like making someone happy, making someone cry, you know, making someone feel good about themselves, like covering up like an insecurity or whatnot. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And I just like, and then my life now is so crazy. And I'm like, this all started with my sister. Like I thank her all the time. I'm like, I wouldn't have this life if it wasn't for you.
That's cool. Like I kind of envy that. Like I had moments, I guess, where I got into a very creative field, like where with my videography and whatnot. But now I think back, there are probably ways I could have kept doing that instead of kind of half doing that now. But I guess for me, my artistic kind of expression thing is now with this and with streaming and things of that nature. Like I love editing video. That's my shit. Some people like hate it because of how tedious it is, but like for me, like the idea of taking a piece of work and molding it into another thing is really cool. So I like that. I guess tattoo. I guess I was a little not afraid, but more of like, oh, this needs to mean something. Like every tattoo has to have some like big grandiose meaning or whatever. And then I've met friends now that have like full like body, like sleeves and everything. And I'm like, maybe not. Like,
honestly, some of the coolest ones are like, they have no meaning at all.
Like I need to do some of that stuff. Like I talked to you about doing some stuff, but I think what I'll probably do first is just be like, you do whatever you want. Like I want to get a tattoo like that. Like I don't know where exactly, but I want one where it's like, you got 2 hours. Do whatever you want to do, and see what comes from that.
Funny because I don't know if you see my Instagram, but I
checked it out a little bit.
Yeah, I do the surprise tattoos. I don't know if you've seen those.
No.
Those are so fun, but yeah, they're basically, they either give me an idea or they give me nothing at all, and they're just like, I don't want to see the design until it's done being tattooed.
Okay. All right. I think I got a calf or two, but that'd be pretty cool to do. Yeah,
so those have been so fun and like one of my best work because I just, it's
fully your like creative expression, like, which is pretty cool. Do you have like tattoos yourself, or you don't?
I don't. I never.
That blows my mind.
It's because I never thought I would be in this industry.
Okay.
And then, when I started, I was like, maybe I should get one. But like, so many people were telling me, you're not going to make it in the industry without a tattoo. Like, nobody's going to take you seriously. I've been turned down by clients for not having tattoos. I've been laughed at. And I was just like, you know what? It became more of like, I'm gonna make it without any tattoos then. And I made sure I didn't get a tattoo because I just wanted to be like, fuck you guys, like I did it.
Yeah.
And
I get that.
Yeah, and I've even had like other artists come up to me and just see my work and they'll be like, oh, I like your work, but I don't respect you. And I was just like, I don't need
That's
that.
wild.
Yeah.
Like,
so I was just trying, I guess, to show others that like it doesn't matter what you look like, you can do absolutely anything that you want to do.
that's pretty cool. It's a good message, I would say.
But now I want a tattoo.
Yeah,
I'm over it now.
Not anymore.
It's been 4 years. I'm okay.
Do you have like any ideas or anything like that?
I want a half sleeve.
Okay.
And then I want it to my knuckles, actually. I want it to be black and gray. But I just like, it's hard to decide. I know I want a wolf because wolves are my favorite.
Okay.
So I might start with that. And then I wanted a color sleeve on this arm. And all I know for that idea is like, there has to be like a T-Rex, like a cool ass T-Rex somewhere.
There's nothing wrong with a good T-Rex.
Yeah.
The idea that I have, it's been evolving, I guess. I talked to you about it briefly, but like the like both of my sleeves, I don't know if I'd ever do my hands or knuckles. I don't. My wrists are shit already. So like, and with training at the jungle and everything, like I that has become painfully obvious to me that I have to be very careful with that, and especially if I actually want to fight, like I'm very picky about like my hands and what I end up doing with them. But I think everything else is free game. Everything from neck down like is free game. Like I
full bodysuit.
Maybe, I don't know. I there's a lot of things that I like that I want to get on me. There are some things that are like important, like even the shit ones that I have now. I call them shit because I see them and I'm like, it was one of those like, hey, the person I was dating at the time was getting like some tattoos, and I was like, I'm gonna get one too. And then I got some. It has nothing to do with her, but like I got them because of the dojo I first started doing like martial arts in. It was like a Taoist dojo, and there's a lot of stuff that I learned while I was doing there, and it helped me out through life, like going on. So I got those on my what are those called? I'm losing words now too.
Yeah, right?
What the hell? They're
the day of losing words.
Shoulder blades. That's what they are. I was like, what? What is my body? Yeah, what's I guess a weird tattoo, like the weirdest thing that you've done at this point?
The weirdest thing that I've done?
As far as like tattoos.
I only did it so I can see the story, and that's another question that I get asked a lot.
Awesome. I'm glad I'm checking off like the basic bitch like fucking interview questions here, but that's all right.
It's okay. Like these are just questions people ask me while I tattoo them because it's so many hours, and it's like, well, what was there to talk about? Let me know about your life. But one of the weirdest things is this person came in and he brought a drawing of two pigs having sex in a bush.
Nice.
And I was just like,
Class.
What? He's like, yeah.
This.
Yeah. And he's like, I want exactly this on my thigh. And I was like, you know what? This is crazy. Let's do it. and what was even weirder was like his story behind it, like why he was getting it. Because I was like, why do you even want this?
Yeah.
It was so weird.
Like, what is wrong with you?
And he was just like, oh, it's to remember my mom. And I was just like, two pigs having sex in a bush to remember your mom?
You don't need to explain that, bud.
What kind of relationship did you have with your mom? He was just like, oh, like she was an artist and she drew this and she passed away, so I wanted to get this. And I was just like, okay, but like, was there not like, any other drawing that you liked? And he was just like, yeah, but they were too girly. This one spoke to me. And I was like, I'm done. Okay. Let's just all right. Yeah. So that was definitely the weirdest thing ever.
Okay. That's cool. I guess most of the reason people ask that kind of stuff is more of like that industry seems like you would run into a lot of like
crazy stuff.
Stuff.
It's definitely been a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Ride.
Okay. So like as I said that, I was thinking to myself, like, it's probably not. It's probably just a lot of people just doing normal shit. But
yeah, there's a lot of crazy people.
Okay.
I was just like, you know, it made me feel more normal, I would say. I'm just like, wow, and that's what, it made me appreciate people as a whole in general, because I'm just like, there are so many different kinds of people out there, and it's just like, it's crazy. And they're all so unique. It's really cool to just get to interact with them. And that's one of the things I love about tattooing, is stepping into someone's life for a few hours and just completely seeing how they live, and
that's really cool,
like their experiences. And it's just like, whoa, like I'm learning a lot from you. Like,
I don't think many professions really get to do that. Part of the reason why, so I used to do a lot of videography work for like cheerleading competitions, dancing competitions, stuff like that. And as fun as that was, and I met a lot of really cool people, the job itself is very like isolating, I guess, because even during the event, you're up on a podium by yourself. No one else is up there. You're not really talking to anyone. You got a podcast popped in like one ear, and then you're listening to audio in the other, or something of that nature. And you're shooting for like anywhere from 8 to 16 hours, like in a day. And it's just you up there, and you're doing your thing. And so what I found was, during the off season, I would literally go and find like some, like, I won't say shitty, it's not a bad, like, but I'd find some like retail job, and I'd do that for like a couple months, because I could feel myself just being disassociated with other people. I was like, this is probably not healthy at all. So like, let me actually do something where I actually get to interact with people, and it's pretty cool. Twitch is kind of cool for that, because you do have the interactivity, but it's not the same as talking to someone, which is why I started doing this. Because
this is super cool, by the way.
Oh, cool! I'm glad you like it. Me. Yeah, I'm happy to have you. Thanks for coming in. There was a point where like I was shit at conversating, and I'm not great now either, but like, what better way to force me to be better than doing that, than to put it in front of a bunch of people? Yeah. So like,
honestly, tattooing has helped me so much, because I was a shy person, and I didn't say a lot either. I was just like, okay, hey, I'm here. Yeah. And tattooing has definitely helped bring me out of my shell, and like get me to start talking to people, and how to talk to certain people. Yeah. Because you just meet so many kinds of people. So this definitely helped a lot. So that's cool. I get how that's what helped. Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess and I guess in the series of people with cool professions that I'm having on, I am curious as to what is there a part of making that art, like what part of it made you want to share it with people, in terms of like putting it online and like Instagram? Like, I know Instagram in one way is like, if you're doing anything creative, you should probably put your stuff there, like as a business kind of side of things. But I wonder what motivates people to share their work.
I guess to inspire others. Okay. Or just because people want to see ideas, or they love your work and they want to see it. And you know, people will get angry, like, hey, why haven't you posted this? What's on? I'm just like, sorry, I'm so behind on photos. But and just sharing, because I'm, you know, I want to grow myself, and it's like business wise, like I just want to, you know, get my art out there and get, you know, more clients in and stuff like that. But also just to share, to share my art. Why? Just to do it. You know, people love art, and, you know, people get inspired by art, and you never know if somebody speaks to someone. Yeah. You know, kind of thing.
Did you find it hard to like find a balance between making this thing that's like a artistic like expression and making it into a business?
Yes.
Yeah. how do you like?
Because, you know, art was always a hobby for me. Right. And then when I just had to do it, like, because I had to do it, it was hard, and it was hard to time manage it, and it was hard to do it on demand. And it was just like, it was hard to make it like work, because it was not like, oh, I'm going to do this whenever I want. It was more of like, okay, I have to do this by this date. Like, I had deadlines, and it was difficult. And then, well, at least for me, there's some artists who know their style right off the bat. I didn't know what my style was. Like, I just drew everything and anything. And so it was hard, because like, it was hard to see and figure out which were the drawings that I wasn't really into. because I didn't know yet.
Mm.
And then the more that I drew and the more that I tattooed, the more I started to see and realize, like, okay, I really enjoy doing these instead of this, because like I can tell my mood is just completely different when I go into tattoo or something. So now I'm like switching more over to like the stuff that I want to do more.
What is that? Like,
I finally found my style.
Okay. So I was actually talking to you about. I was talking about you to someone
Cool.
yesterday, and they were like, they're like, what kind of style of tattoos does she do? I was like, I don't know. She has like some anime stuff that's pretty cool. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, I don't know how to describe it because I don't know like what those styles really are.
Yeah. Well, anime is kind of like a style.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
But my favorites are geometric, neo-traditional, and illustrative, and I tend to just mix them all up.
Okay.
Anyways, like, and that was the thing about, and that's why it's important to learn how to tattoo just about anything, because then you can kind of mix styles together, and then it creates even more of a unique style towards you.
Okay.
Rather than just sticking with one thing the entire time.
So they sound somewhat self-explanatory, but do you mind expanding on like what those
geometric
three? Yeah,
is,
like
shapes, like patterns and stuff like that. Illustrative is like drawings. It's just sketching out stuff and then just making it. It's just not really forming into a style.
Or would more like photorealistic stuff fall into that category? Or
photorealistic stuff is more just like realism.
Okay.
There's black and gray realism and color realism. I wanted to be into color realism, but I realized how much time that takes, and I was just like, yeah, you know what? I'm not into it. And then black and gray realism, I'd like to mix that with geometric work a lot, because I think it looks really cool together, something so realistic, and then you just put it into a shape, and it's just like, whoa. So yeah, I don't, like, I've done them, but like I realized that that's one of the things that I don't really enjoy doing as much. It's just plain realism tattoos. It's just like a sleeve or this whole portrait or something. Like, I don't do portraits. That's really hard too.
You mean like a full like scene or something of that nature, or like
the people get scenes and stuff. Portraits, I mean more like faces, especially if it's faces of like family relatives, because if something's off, they'll know right away, like, her eyebrow does not look like that, and it's like, well.
Do you have a lot of those where like somebody's like, I want this, and then like, I wouldn't say a lot, but like I want this thing, and then you work on it and you're like, that didn't quite turn out exactly like that. That's something that for me, when it comes to tattooing, it's like, this shit's permanent. Like, if you fuck this up, like
yeah. When those moments happen, I just try to redraw it, and if I'm really struggling or something, I'll just not do it, or tell them like I'm not the artist for this, and I'll recommend them to someone else. But most of the part, I just try to redraw until I get it right, and if their appointment date comes up and they're still not happy with it, we just move the appointment date.
Yeah.
And if they're still not happy with it, that's the point where I'm just like, okay, I'm not your artist,
Yeah. I've been trying to like stage these things. Like, I want to get the dog first, and then work on the tattoos, and then probably move out of here. Yeah, I can't wait. I feel like I haven't exhausted all the questions, but sometimes I feel like I end up asking more questions, or if you have questions about streaming or anything like that, you're more than welcome to ask those. Because as much as I love to, I've learned that I shouldn't push that on people, because there's a couple people that have come on and they're like, oh, this is really cool. And I'm like, yeah, you do a lot of cool fitness stuff. Maybe you should stream it. And then I end up like just forcing people into it, and then some people don't really like it. They don't take to it well. But yeah, I try to make it like a back and forth. But if you don't have any questions for me, I still have plenty for you. So
well, I was thinking of getting into Twitch.
Okay.
So I was just like, all this equipment is really cool.
This is not Twitch. But
yeah, I know.
No. I'm just saying, this is not like, yes, this is the same software. Yes, this is how you would do it. But like, this is not even remotely close to what
I feel like this seems like really difficult to do, because I've tried, like, I have one, nobody look me up, but I have like one YouTube video.
I'm gonna look it up now. Like that's just what's gonna happen.
And it's just so awful. Like it's so cringy. I could put it on private, but I'm just gonna leave it there because I just want to pretend it doesn't exist. But yeah, I just have like one YouTube video, and it was like the hardest thing ever to like just keep up with it too. And I'm just like, how do you even find the time, or like if you have a busy schedule, like how long those editing takes? For me, it took like thousands of hours.
So part of the reason why I have this whole setup thing with the camera swaps and whatnot, I'm afraid to swap back to me. Is it working? No, it's frozen. All right, cool. We're going back. So part of the reason why I have this is because there is a way to have multiple cameras and all that stuff, but have to edit all that stuff in post. That takes a fuck ton of time, and I'm not about to do that. So I found a way to put it all in this software and like do it in real time. So editing a podcast for me really isn't editing. It's I slap an intro on, I like scrub through the main video, like this recording, and usually there's not anything I need to like edit out. Like there's only been a couple times that I need to edit out. There was one person who mentioned our place of employment, and I was like, nope, I don't want that on there. So I had to edit that out. But other than that, it's usually just like intro, outro, render. Like it's very simple.
We mentioned the jungle. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I think I actually wore one of the shirts in the last episode, which I hope is okay.
I'm sure they wouldn't mind.
Oh, I don't think they would mind the shirt thing. It's more of the stuff we were talking about and that being associated with it. And it was just like, after the thing, I was just like, oh, shit. Oh, no. I hope it's fine. Yeah. I thought about wearing it today, but I was just like, 2 in a row. Why would I do that? That seems kind of much. But
well, we should just fought yesterday.
It's true. Support. That's true. She did a good fucking job too.
Yeah, it was crazy. So tough.
Yeah. Most of those punches I was looking at, like, yep, that's me right there. I'd be down right there at that point.
I wouldn't even make it to the ring. I was just be in tears.
I guess we could talk about that too, because I got the vibe or the sense that you're like a very what's the word? Pacifistic kind of person, very just like cheery, joyful, like very like happy-go-lucky kind of person. Yet in the gym, when we're like teeing off on bags, I'm hearing your voice in the background, just like like going to town on a heavy bag. So like, did you find that difficult to like?
Yes. Yeah. I still have a hard time being mean. Like Alec, our coach, he's always just like, you gotta be meaner, D. And I'm just like, oh my God, I thought I was being ruthless.
He's like, you're just touching the bag. Like, you're not.
And it's just like, it made me realize, like, okay, like maybe I just gotta be tougher, or be angrier, or I don't know. Yeah. And it just means like just be faster, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, at first it was kind of like, well, I was always just wanting to get into fighting.
Okay.
I've never been to a fight though, so it's kind of interesting. But I always wanted to get into fighting, and then like I don't want to do it to like beat people up or anything, but just to like build that self-confidence. But now that I'm there, and like I'm just so inspired by everyone at the jungle and stuff, I'm just like, you know what? Maybe I do want to fight somebody.
Give it a shot. Yeah. It's not like a beat someone up thing or like a very aggressive thing. For me, especially jujitsu, like it's
a challenge.
Yeah, it's like a puzzle. Like it's very much like I've taken this very like tough like thing and converted into like the nerdiest shit ever. But like it's like solving like a Rubik's cube or something like that. Like it's a lot of like it's like chess. It's like physical chess, and I like that. It's super super cool. As far as kickboxing though, I know it started off as a way for me to like I don't know, deal with pent up frustration, I guess.
Yeah.
But now it's like I don't know if I would be happy doing anything else. Yeah. Like I spend so much time there now, and like I'm not looking forward to going back to like traveling for work again because I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to go to the gym. Like, what am I gonna do?
So I'm like, damn, how many days am I missing?
Fuck. Because I've already gotten emails and stuff like for events like later in September, and I'm just like, but I might be wanting to fight by then. Like what? Yeah. So I don't know.
You should definitely.
I'm looking forward to it. The other thing I think I've noticed too is I know where I am compared to a lot of the other people that are both in my weight class and like kind of learning position there. I'm behind. Like at least I feel that way. Right. Like so.
I think that maybe you'll always kind of feel that way because there's always going to be somebody that you're going to look up to and be like, well, I want to get as good as that.
Yeah.
So I just think like just go for it.
Yeah, I think honestly, if this would be bad, if somebody were to say, "Hey, Joe, here's a piece of paper, you can sign it, and you will fight tomorrow." Like, if I knew that the other person was like comparable skill level, I'd do it in a heartbeat. Like, I'd want to do it in a heartbeat. Do I think I'm ready for that right now? Probably not. But that's just the type of person that I am. It's like I'd do it regardless.
Yeah, maybe don't ask yourself. Ask your coaches.
Yeah.
And then if they feel like the same thing, they'll get you ready for it.
Yeah.
You know?
I almost feel like it would be insulting to ask that at this point because I'm so green. So like I want to at least get like a couple of belts or something like that, and like along the way as far as jiu-jitsu, some bands and whatnot before I start taking something like that on. Unless there is like a white belt kind of thing. If that exists, I'm down. Like I would love to do that because for me, I want to be able to test my skill and see like where I kind of stand. I can be very competitive.
In the water.
I like competing and stuff regardless of whether I'm good at it or not. I like to test myself against what other people can do. So this this is a very weird thing to be doing at my age, I guess. I'm not old. Like, I'm 29. So, like...
Not old.
I'm not old, but, like...
Come on.
As far as fighting goes, like, most people start that when they're really young. And I didn't. So, like, I did, like, when I was 22. But there's a big gap of when I stopped doing it. So, like, I kind of feel like I'm starting over now. So, But
everybody has their own journey and like their own time span. Like I don't like to compare myself to others and like, oh, at this age, this person did all this. Like I could be doing that or whatnot.
I try not to do that. I think of it more so from like a physical thing. Like when I am 35, my body will not be the same that it is now. And if I'm fighting at the level that I am now, the people that I'll be fighting will be like 22. So like I have to think about that. Like I guess it's better now because I've actually started being a little bit more physical. But like prior to like just kicking something or like being sore, like I have like, oh man, this takes forever for it to like heal. Now it's a lot faster because I'm eating better and like actually exercising like I should be. She's like, you heal super quickly. You get these superpowers.
Like, come on.
That would be very interesting to find out. Like, there's so many things I want to test. Might just be a bit more reckless, just to be like, hey, how does this feel if I'm on this diet? So it's like later.
D, I broke my arm.
D, this is your fault.
How dare you?
You told me to do this. But no, I'm pretty stoked. I guess I don't know what the starter pack for that diet would look like. Do you have like a recommendation for like if you're just starting, like here's some...
Get rid of all your meat products and dairy products.
Just throw them away.
Yeah, temptation is the worst. Out of sight, out of mind. And then just buy whatever you usually eat, so that way it's not a huge difference. Or it depends how you want to start. Do you want to do it cold turkey, or do you want to like work your way to it?
I'm trying to think if I've had good experiences like cutting things off in my life cold turkey. I think I have. Like most of the things that I decide that I stop wanting to do, I just don't do them. But usually they're negative things, like bad things that I'm just like, hey, I don't want to do that anymore. Like, I guess I've never really been like a big smoker or anything like that. I've tried that stuff in the past, but like I've never had to. I've never really had any like addictions or anything like that. So granted, I say that, and I may find this to be exceptionally more difficult than I'm thinking. And I'm like, hey, maybe you might be addicted to this type of food, kid.
I'm not addicted to anything, but I'm addicted to food.
Just
that's my only thing. I'm just like, oh, I need it.
Like even alcohol, like for me, I don't like. I'll drink it, but it's more of like a social thing. Like it's very rare that I'll like be like, hey, let me grab like a drink or something when I'm just at home or like when I'm I guess the only exception to that is sometimes I'll do it for fun for streaming stuff, but that's about it. Like as my phone is yelling at me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Shush.
Yeah. It's just like, hey, this person that you follow is going live now. I'm like, that's cool. I'm busy.
But, I'm live right now. Have some respect.
I think that's the next step. Because even and I guess you can kind of relate this with like tattooing and whatnot. Like there was a point in time where I streamed like every day. Like I would get home from work and I'd go live and I'd be playing something. I play like some of the most niche video games, but like I'd sit down and play them, and there was a degree of joy that kind of came with that, and then somewhere along the line that went away, and that's why I stopped streaming altogether. And now I'm kind of like slowly creeping back into it. Did you ever have something like that with your art, like
getting tired of it?
Like burnout, I guess.
Just
is
recently,
right.
actually, like right before the corona hit.
Oh no.
I was just like tattooing because when I moved over here, because I'm from Miami, I moved here like 2-3 years ago. My clientele just boosted over here.
Oh, okay.
And then moving towards shops, towards more of a local shop, because when I first started, I was on High Drive. It's very touristy. When I moved to a more local shop, the demand got a lot higher, and I was just like mass producing all these drawings, and I was just like, I'm so sick of it. And it was just, and that was the thing of what I was talking about, of like how now I'm just leaning towards more of like things that I really enjoy doing, because I was feeling that way of just like, it was more noticeable when I would come into work. I'm just like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to tattoo this. Like, I'm not having fun doing this. And so I just stopped taking clients that wanted just things that I wasn't into. And I just started recommending them to just artists at the shop, or like artists from another shop that I thought would do a really good job. And I'm just like, I'm done doing these. Like, because if I keep doing them, I'm just going to stay unhappy. And I'd rather just do the things that I enjoy and continue, because I love my career, and I would never. I was talking to this about this subject to my sister. So I'm like, oh, I don't know, like I feel so drained, like I'm not really. And it was also the point where I was really getting into my fitness. And she was like, are you gonna quit tattooing? And I was like, never. Like, no, like that's not what I'm trying to say. And then it made me realize, like, why am I whining? Why am I not enjoying this? And then I was like, okay, like I don't want to quit tattooing, but let me not complain about it, and let me just make a change. So that kind of like woke me up when she said that, because I was just like, oh, I'm going to work today.
I don't complain, or I don't see my day job, I would say, as like, it's not great. It's not a fun time, but like to me, it's just it's a means to an end. It allows me to fund the things that I like to do, which is this and streaming and whatnot. But somewhere along the line, streaming, I think it's the headspace I get into sometimes after I'm done streaming, where it's just like, oh, well, last time I had this amount of people watching, and this time I didn't have this amount of people watching. And that's like the number one thing every streamer is like, fucking don't look at the number. Like, I know that. Like, it's
like same thing with Instagram. Like, don't look at the likes.
But I don't know. I think what I'm wanting to do, because I like video games. I enjoy playing them, but sometimes I think streaming takes away, like, it sucks the fun out of the game. So I don't enjoy those as often or as much as I would enjoy maybe streaming something like this. But I think if I stream something like this, it'd have to be a little bit more interactive with chat and like the people that are watching and whatnot. I haven't quite figured out exactly how I want to do that. That doesn't take away from the one-on-one conversation that I'm having with whoever I have on. But once I do figure that out, I think that's ideal for me. Like, because this kind of stuff I enjoy doing. I really love doing it. And the game stuff is fun. It's just, there's something I don't know. It's not the same. It's not as dynamic. I even have more fun doing like the cooking streams that I would do every now and then. Like those are more fun.
At least you're noticing those things though, and then you can kind of like work around it into like, okay, well, what can I do to make it more fun or more enjoyable?
Yeah.
That's what I do. All right, what kind of change do I need to make?
Did you just end up like taking only accepting stuff that like you wanted to do essentially, and beforehand then you were just kind of like, whatever. Yep,
pretty
I'll
much.
do it.
Because that's how, when I was learning how to tattoo, like I didn't have a style, so that's what I did, and that's
that makes sense.
I knew how to do was just like, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it. What, you don't want to do that? I'll do it.
Okay. Well, I'll take that wisdom. I'll try to see if I can apply it to streaming and whatnot.
Yeah. It's helped a lot, and I feel much better now.
Yeah. I don't have much else, I guess. And we're kind of like in an hour in, which is fine. I don't know if you have any other questions or anything like that.
Oh man, I hate that question because it makes me blank out. Now I got to think of a question.
You don't have to, but like I like I said before, I don't want it to be like, I say interview, but it's like I would prefer it to be more of a conversation, like back and forth.
Well, I was super into your whole training process to get into like fighting and stuff, because that's something that I want to do as well. And just hearing you say how like you're like waiting until these milestones until actually trying to reach out to make a fight or whatever.
Yeah, I guess
to learn a little bit more about that.
I think each gym probably does it differently, and because the first gym that I went to years ago, this is not a bad thing. I don't want to say this is like a negative thing towards them, but they were probably more inclined to have newer, less experienced fighters jump into a ring or a cage and fight. Some people will say that is a good thing because you get like really good experience early on, but some people will say that is a bad thing because it's very risky, especially if you don't know what you're doing and you end up getting mismatched against somebody. What I'm trying to do now with the jungle is, as much as the back of my head is screaming like, Joe, you want to fight? You want to get in there and do some shit, dude? I'm like trying to shut that guy up and just be like, okay, improve on this thing. Like your kicks suck, make them better. Like your balance sucks, make that better. Like,
how do you go about that? Like, what do you just show up more? Or?
So like there was a point like before Corona like shut everything down. I would go Monday, and I would get there for jiu-jitsu, like Monday night, and then I'd do kickboxing afterwards, and then I'd do the same thing on Tuesday, and then I would go on Thursday, and that was it. And it was about 2 hours a day, and that was it. Now, I'm usually there for the 11 a.m. jiu-jitsu, and I leave at like 1:30 or like 1:15 or so, and I do that 5 days a week. I do that every day, and as often as I possibly can. And the I guess, well, I'll let Coach Alec say whether or not this is true, but like I feel like the jump in terms of like how my improvement in that, drastic, like just way better. And it's also like a lot about like, yes, we're going over certain drills, but in my head, no matter what the drill is, I'm more concerned about this one thing. So like, even if the drill is about like we're working on like punches or anything like that, like or whatnot, there's almost always a kick in there. And when the kick is there, I'm more like, if in my head I'm going, I need to work on my kicks, like I need to work on my roundhouses, like they suck. I focus on that one thing. I will probably, in doing that, throw some of the shittiest punches you'll ever see, but like, because in my head I'm more concerned about this one thing. And like now I feel like I've got my balance on those now. I can throw them with a lot more force behind them. So I just start very I start focusing on very small things.
That's a good idea. I struggle with a lot. It's like I'm just trying to focus on everything, and then sometimes it's just a hot mess.
Yeah, so I did that from the beginning at the jungle, and I just, man, I would get so angry at myself for so many things that I'd be getting wrong or like just not really getting, and I was just like, so I can't do this. Like this is just so unhealthy. This is bad. I got to focus on like the thing, and that's helped me out a lot. It's there because there are days where we'd be done and I'd be sitting on a little bench. I'm like, why the fuck am I doing this? Like, I am so bad at this. Like, what am I doing? And then like, I'd go home. I wake up the next day knowing that I had already registered for the class. And in my head, I was like, yeah, I guess I'll just fucking go do it. Like, I was like, regardless of like whatever, like, and that was something when I recognized, I was like, okay, you probably actually really like doing this. Because if you can have a moment of like, not wanting to quit, but like a moment of just being like, what the fuck? And then like the next day you still want to do it, like it's probably something you really enjoy doing. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
I feel like you become obsessed.
Yeah, it's really easy to like.
Yeah.
I think what I'm really concerned about now is making sure I don't overwork myself. I have a friend of mine that she's like super into fitness and whatnot, and I talk to her a lot about like what I'm doing there and whatnot. And she's like, hey, maybe you don't burn yourself out 3 hours a day every day. Like maybe you should take some breaks here or there. I'm like, but I have so far to go. Like I have to be in there every day.
I have a hard time learning how to slow down in general. Yeah. Like there's just so much I want to do, and I'm just like, all right, I gotta do all this in one day. Let's do it.
So I guess my motivation for not doing that is like, there was a point in time where like I stopped doing like a lot of stuff that I later realized that I enjoyed doing and got back into, and like I got into this really bad depression. Like it was not good. This is like, Jesus Christ. See, I am old. That was like 6 years ago. Fuck. But yeah, like, so I did that. And so now for me, it's almost like that guy is behind me, like pushing me to be like, well, if you stop doing stuff, you're not like, that's going to come back regardless of whether or not that's true or not. It probably isn't. I think I'm over all that stuff now. I have a lot of healthy ways of thinking about things now. So, but there, it's helpful to have gone through that, I guess. Like I do appreciate.
It's like what motivates you.
Yeah, it's like you don't want to go back to that. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know what motivates you to like kind of never stop or.
I had this question before, and when I said that, somebody was like, "You need help."
Oh no!
But I don't mean it in that way. But I have a fear of dying.
Okay.
And not experiencing as many things as I want to experience, kind of thing. So when I first mentioned this, I was just like, "Oh yeah, I'm just scared of like dying and like not."
I feel like that's why people are like.
She's like, she came up to me. This was when I was doing kickboxing, and I love kickboxing. She came up to me and she was like, "I'm gonna pray for you," and I was like, "I'm okay."
It's okay.
Yeah, because she was like, "Oh, because like my daughter, she's afraid of dying, and like she doesn't do anything. She's stuck at home all the time." And I'm like, No. I mean it in like the opposite way. Like I'm scared I'm just gonna die, and then I'm not gonna do all these things, and I've never had the chance to do this or see that. And like when I started traveling, that also boosted it, because I was just like, there's so much this more. World has to offer, and I'm just been here under palm trees the entire time. So that's what motivates me every day. Like I just try to do the most and try to seize the day, because I might not have tomorrow. You know?
Yeah, that is a concept I've thought about, but I've never really dwelled too much on it.
I don't dwell on it. I'm just like, I realize it. And I'm like, fuck, I gotta just let's go.
I guess I've traveled a decent amount, but it's always been for work. So like I won't say never. There's been moments when I've been able to go sightseeing and whatnot, but like it's very rare. Like it's usually like you arrive at like Friday, you get off the plane, you get your rental, you drive to the venue, you set up, you're gonna be tired by the time you're done, you go back to your hotel room, pass out. Then you go to work on Saturday, you work on Sunday, and then like you're flying out on Monday. So like it's usually like very tight.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I gotta start planning some trips that are just
I highly recommend that because I try to do that as well with like conventions and stuff like that. And it was really hard to find the time because you're just so exhausted after, and you're just like, all right, I want to go home. Yeah, like, that's what I want to do.
It's like I'd like to see that play now.
Yeah, so like people tell me all the time, like, oh, you're a tattoo artist, you should just travel more and work and see all these things. And I'm like, I don't like to mix it because then I'm in work mode and not in vacation mode. And that will stress me out because I'm not enjoying my vacation.
That's fair. I've tried the idea of like vacationing where you are. And I want to make it to a point. That's one of the things I want to do. I don't know if I'll be able to do it this year because of all of the stuff that's going on. But at least by the end of next year, I want to go to all of the parks in Central Florida. And I've been making a point to go to
like
a few.
The state parks?
Yeah.
Nice.
And as most of that's because I had this idea of Florida. I was like, this place is swampy. There's not really any nature because I'm from South/North Carolina. Where I have like mountains and hiking trails and things like that. And here we have like creeks and swamps and beaches and whatnot, which I like beaches. They're cool, but I miss climbing things. So
I loved just traveling, going to go hiking up a mountain. That was like one of the most searching things I've ever done. We climbed a really high mountain and I was just like so dead.
What's crazy is like when you first start and like you see where you want to end up and you're just like, that's really far. And then like by the time you get there, like so much like
it seems endless.
It seems but like once you get there, you look where you came from. You're just like, holy shit! Like it's wild. But
and you have like this small realization. It's like, yo, I did that, and you're like, you conquered something. It's empowering. It's like,
I miss very few things from South Carolina. I do miss that. So
that's why I like to travel for that. I just go to the mountains because there's no mountains here.
Yeah.
And I've been here like my whole life, so it's just like I need to get out.
There's no snow or anything. I mentioned my buddy that's running for office, and I need to go up north because I haven't seen snow in way too long. So I'm like, I gotta go do that. But
I thought I would like the cold until I saw snow.
Yeah?
Yeah, and I was like,
really?
Oh. Yeah. It's because like I don't like the idea of being layered up and you're cold on the outside and on the inside you're sweating. It's such a weird feeling.
I guess. I feel like you're probably
overdoing it.
No, you're probably being way more active than you should be when you're not layered up. I don't know.
But I do sweat a lot. And like I'm always.
I don't know if you have seen me in the gym.
You see me?
I don't think that this is even
exact.
I feel like now I've gotten to the point where I literally will bring a second towel because I'm just like, well, I don't want to fall on my ass again. So like, let me fucking like Alex going over like the drill. I'm just like, like whopping over all the sweat. That's what
I need to start doing because I see people with towels. I'm like, that's a great idea because I'm just sweating my ass off over here.
I feel like it's almost like weird or awkward how much I sweat because I look around at other people when they're done and they're just like they're sweaty but like I'm dripping and I'm just like okay, all right, cool.
And I feel gross. I'm a lady. Should I be sweating this much? And I'm just like, it comes out of my head. And like when I train with one of my best friends, she's always just like, she doesn't sweat that much, and then she'll see me and I'm like trying to do a push-up and there's like sweat dripping down and she'll be like, whoa, like, I wish I could sweat that much. And I'm like, no, you don't.
It's not good.
It's not comfortable. It gets in my eyes. It's not cool.
I had that problem once I shaved my hair off the top of my head. And I was like, it just a stupid story. I was like, I'll cut my own hair. And I cut it and it was bad. And I was like, all right, well, we're fucking taking everything else off because this looks terrible.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I was like, And then I got all the memes. I don't know if you've played that game, Max Payne. You ever seen that? Okay,
what is that?
It's like a third-person shooter kind of story game. But
I'm
like
terrible at shooting games.
Oh, man. Like, what? I remember you telling me something about like you getting into like gaming and whatnot. What do you play?
I love Mortal Kombat.
Okay, all right.
And Kingdom Hearts.
Oh man, you lost me. You were like, you started off so high.
Kingdom Hearts is just so good. I love story mode games.
I like like a good like single player story game.
And I like fun games like Smash and Mario Kart. Yoshi Island.
You just okay. All right. So you said you said fun games, and then you said Smash and Mario Kart. Those are the most like competitive fun games that exist ever. Like
they're so fun.
They're fun if the people that you're playing with are having fun.
Yeah.
And none of the people I know that play Smash Brothers, like my brothers won multiple tournaments. Like, and that's the only person I get to play with. So I'm like, I guess I'll be good at the game. Like, so.
Okay, I can see how that could be intense.
Yeah, it's rough. But like, and then his friends are like, oh yeah, let's play Smash Brothers. And they come over here and they're just like, yeah, man, you just 0 to like 81% like stalked me. That's cool, man. Good job.
Yeah.
But nah, the whole sweat thing. I back to the sweat. I shaved my hair off, and then I went back to the gym the next day. I was like, yeah, this is kind of cool. Like, nice breeze. This is awesome. And then I started sweating. I was like, I can't see. Like, because all of the sweat that normally would be trapped up here just rolled into my eyes. I was like,
God,
this
so it made it worse?
Sucks. This is way worse. So like now I'm kind of like, do I want to grow my hair back out? Because I kind of do like not having to think about that. Like, well, it's fine. It'll come back.
Okay.
I hope so. Anyway, it's still recording, and that's all that matters. But I don't know.
Is it the cameras or just the TV?
It's the TV. It's two things. So like, it's the TV, and it's that fucking fridge.
Oh, okay.
So I guess it like does this cycle thing, as most fridges apparently do. And whenever it does that, it like pulls. They're both on the same circuit, and it pulls this thing, and it like turns off and on for a second, which means that I'm gonna have to find a new home for that fridge, which is unfortunate.
Wow. Put it in your room.
Maybe. So that fridge actually has all of the. Sorry, excuse me. All of the like alcohol and like beer and whatnot.
The fun stuff.
This is the fun stuff that hangs out in there, and that's mostly for this. Because there are some people that are like, I need some liquid courage. And I'm like, here you go.
Oh, man, I feel that.
Because most of the beer that like my brother would drink, he usually has in there. Because I think he has a fridge in here, his room as well. Pretty sure. Either he does or that is that fridge and we moved out here and I forgot about it. So
have you ever had someone who was just wasted on here?
Yes.
How was that?
It was probably the funniest episode, but it to me it was probably one of, oh man, it's okay, buddy, I still like you. You're an okay guy. But it was probably one of, I would say, the worst episodes. Yeah, because it was like so all over the place.
Oh man, I was thinking that. I'm like, I wonder if like anything was constructed or anything like that.
So I've had people give me that critique of like, you should have like bullet points and like you should have it for that, and I'm like, but that's not the way a normal conversation flows, and that's what I wanted it to be like just two people talking, or however many people talking, and what it means is I have to kind of have those things in my head and naturally put them out, or in my case sometimes unnaturally just inject them into conversation.
Yeah.
But I almost prefer it that way. I like the whole like the kind of scuffed like feel of it. It was kind of like everything's kind of random and rambling, but
well, yeah. And it does feel more comfortable too. Yeah. Like you were right. Like after the first few minutes,
yeah, it's just
okay. It's just a conversation.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just there's a bunch of cameras and lights and stuff. That's all.
But like not looking at that is really helpful.
Yeah.
Except for that guy.
Yeah, just like right in your face.
Yeah, that one's right in my face.
Sometimes it's worth it. Like it's like if and I think especially if I decide to, okay, this is not coming back, which is bothering me. But if when I start streaming it, then it's going to be a little weird, because then there will be actual interaction. Then I probably should be looking at the people that I'm talking to. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there, I guess.
Gotcha, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that would also put a lot of people off from wanting to come on too, if they knew it was live. Like there's that pressure of like, well, can't edit anything, like whatever you say is what you say, and it's stuck there forever. I thought
this was gonna be live, and you're telling me it wasn't. I was like, okay.
No. I mean, listen, there's the part 2. Probably by then I'll have that all set up and we can do it live. I'm both terrified and looking forward to it, I guess.
Yeah, make it a challenge.
Yeah. Well, it's not so much the challenge that terrifies me. It terrifies me because as often as I pause when I think and then talk and whatnot, there are times where I don't do that and I just say whatever I'm thinking. And usually those are the things I'm like, am I going to get suspended from Twitch or banned off of this account because I said some shit that's like not PC or something of that nature? I'm like, oh no. But
yeah. But I feel like there's so many people who say just the craziest things, and like
it's true.
They're still on podcasts, and sometimes I'll listen to them. I'm like, is this okay?
Yeah. It's like, apparently this is okay with Spotify. All right, fine.
Is this normal?
I think I also made the mistake of like staying on YouTube for a little bit too long. I'm just now getting everything on Spotify, which has been cool.
Doesn't YouTube demonetize so much stuff?
It's so bad. I posted a video that was 2 hours long. It was a podcast, and I used a different song as my outro. They demonetized the entire video. I was just like, that thing lasts for 16 seconds. Like, wow. But it's like, or no, it was a copyright claim. So the company that owned that piece of the song that I used, they took all of the money from that video. Essentially, that's how that system works. And I was just like, really? So you're telling me for a 2-hour piece of video, 16 seconds of it, you own the, like, that gives you the right to all of the revenue from it. I'm like, but I try not to get too into the weeds of that, because I think that was the main reason why I had such an issue with the first time I tried to make YouTube videos. I got so into the business side of things that it sapped all the fun out of it. So still trying to have fun with it.
Are you still gonna do YouTube, or are you just gonna switch more to this?
No, I'll do both. Yeah. I think there's a benefit to having the cameras, and then like there's more personal feel to the like videos that way than just hearing the audio. There's also like in that video that when you're talking about where somebody got wasted, like there's a lot of visually funny things that happen that like wouldn't translate well over just audio.
Gotcha. Like, yeah, because you can't see it.
Yeah, there was, and I that was the only podcast that I did some fun editing in, because I thought it was hilarious and it was worth doing. There was a point where, because we both were drinking and way more than we should have, and we both had to go to the bathroom at certain points, and I was like, oh well, I'm going to the bathroom. Keep talking. So it was just the person here by themselves, and he was just like, all right, let me talk about the environment. So he just went on this like rant for like 20 minutes or so. Oh, it wasn't that long, but like a couple minutes. And I was like, what if I superimpose like this waterfall and like all this other stuff like just growing around him while he was doing, and it was pretty funny.
Wait, don't you need like a green screen to do that, or
not necessarily? Like not to the degree that I did it. It wasn't like more like super special effect looking thing, but yeah. I do have a green screen that I almost never use now.
You should use it.
I should. Like I got it for streaming, so I could have like no background. But then I got all the cool stuff that I have in my room, and I'm like, I want to show that off. I would much rather like have that back on the back. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I think I probably would use it more for like if I made more just short videos, which is something a lot of people tell me I should do. But
for like your gaming, or for this, or
for both. I've made like 1 or 2 like short gaming videos that are just kind of like funny. There was this game. Have you ever heard of this game called Shadow of the Colossus? No. Play Kingdom Hearts and you play Shadow.
Kingdom Hearts is so good.
You know what? I might just bite the bullet. I've given that series so much crap, and I've only played like 1 or 2 of them.
Really?
So, yeah, which is totally like not what you should do. It's like, what the fuck?
You gotta get into it.
There's something about the Disney characters and then like the Final Fantasy thing that just seems so like it just
like forced or something.
It just doesn't seem to meld well in my head. Like it's just like.
I think it's so cool. I think it's fun. It's different, and like it makes it less like a cute Disney game. Like it's not just like oh, here's some cute Disney characters, like let me be Mickey kind of thing. It gives it more of like a little more of a cool vibe, more of like a video game vibe. I feel like.
Do they have them available with like Japanese language, but or Japanese voices, but English subbed? Is that a thing?
I have no idea. I don't think so.
I think I'd be more inclined to do that because I've heard all of this like cutscenes of like was it Roxas? Is that, yeah, like just the way that they talk and the whoever writes for that is so bad and cheesy. Like it's every time I hear it, I'm just like, oh, this is the cringiest.
Oh, man.
Like,
yeah.
But I'm sure that's part of the charm, though.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
It's like,
I mean, if I were to play like the first game again, I would probably get a little cringy with some of the stuff they said. Because back in the day,
you're kids.
Being
like,
cringy is like. It was like cute.
Yeah.
I didn't really notice it as being cringy, and then now if you rewatch a movie or something like that, it's just like, oh, that was cringy.
It's like, why'd they do that?
Yeah, but yeah, you should play it though.
I'll give it its fair share. I'll give it a shot. I might stream it just so people because I did that for
just make fun of it if anything.
Yeah, I tried doing that for Undertale, which was this really popular game, and I hated it so much, and I even got into an argument with somebody I brought on here. He was like, "No, that game was revolutionary. It was big for like what it did and everything." I was like, "That game came out in like 2000 something. And it looks like a game that came out in like 1990. Like it's not. It looks like shit.
No.
Like it looks bad, and the game's bad. Like
man.
it was like this
terrible.
whole thing. Like that was the one time I actually got into an argument with somebody on here. And I was like, "Oh, okay, man. Like just agree to disagree or whatever."
Oh, man,
but
so funny. Do you get a lot of arguments on here? Because I feel like it's like a lot of like maybe debatable stuff.
The last couple have been debatey, I would say. Not necessarily very argumentative, just more of like, here's my opinion on this, here's my opinion on this, and then like comparing the two. I'm trying to think if I got into like another heated argument. It's usually about stuff that really doesn't matter, like video games and stuff like that. It's almost never about like politics or anything like that.
Yeah.
That being said, I have a feeling that between the last video I shot and the next I'm going to shoot, like it will probably be a little bit more argumentative. I don't think that's a word, but but it's a word today.
It's a word today because there's no words today. Is it going to be about politics?
Yeah.
And, like everything that's going on?
Yeah, I've shot 2 already on that topic.
Oh, okay.
But I kind of wanted to make a couple series of them.
Okay.
And I seem to be recording that alongside the series of like creator series, which you're a part of. You're the first one of that. So like, there's a friend of mine that has she started like an OnlyFans thing, and I wanted to talk to her about that.
Ooh, that
I have a friend.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I there's a lot of. Granted, she has not messaged me back after the last time I texted her, but she seemed like super excited to do it. I think her schedule just sucks right now, so yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, it's been super fun. It's kind of how I started too. Like I got a lot of streamers and YouTubers and stuff that were on, and then I kind of veered off of that and got into politics, and then I was like. This stuff is important. This is necessary, but I want to blow my brains out after every time because I've like had like 3 different ones of the same thing. I was like, so I have to try to balance it, like between doing this kind of stuff and then the more serious stuff. So
yeah, what got you into all this stuff? Was it just was it video games that started? Like recording it.
I think it's a couple of things. I think the first thing was video games. I think video games and Twitch and streaming kind of was like the starter or where I started. And then at a certain point, I like talking about politics. I do. It's just draining. Like I can only do it for so long. And I realized that like my mental health is more important than continuing talking about that stuff.
Oh, man.
But I do enjoy talking about it. I do enjoy debating with people about things like that. But I think mostly it's the videography and like editing side of things. I like doing those. And I the job I had before was very much like you're doing it for this client. And I wanted to do something that was more for me and like my thing. And
so you took what you learned from there and brought it to yourself. That's super cool.
Yeah,
that's super helpful.
As much as I could have taken from, well, I say that, you know, I find myself downplaying stuff that I do sometimes, and now I'm thinking about it, like, no, we did some really cool work, like, back for that company. The company was UEP, Universal Event Photography. I remember I directed a live show, that was a blast. I loved doing that. It was really cool, like, calling out angles. Like, we had a camera set up on, like, a jib, which is like that. I don't know if you've seen them, like, in probably videos and whatnot, but, like, anytime you see, like, a camera that's on, like, this giant, like, crane-looking thing. Yeah, they it's called, like, a jib. And, like, lining up those shots and be like, hey, like, and being on comms and like, hey, start up top left and like have it rotate around, like come down, and, like I love doing that. It's super fun. Unfortunately, all the events and stuff have been kind of shut down, so there's not been a lot of work for that right now. But that's what the day job's for, I guess. You have some kind of income, whatnot. But
so you had 2 jobs?
Yeah. Most of my time is spent. So what I do right now is I'm an event coordinator for a company that, again, is probably some of the nerdiest shit. It's like card games, like board games, like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that. So I sanction tournaments and like I handle their social media and whatnot, and I do all that stuff for them. That is what I do most of the time. Then usually when we're back into the swing of things, I usually like once or twice a month I go and I shoot video for another company. And
can you kind of like create your own schedule with that?
A little bit, yeah. Like I kind of work in part with like the management of the store or like showroom or whatever you want to call it for that company. And when there is time available, I'll like, hey, I got a gig that I want to do in this month on this date. It's like, I need X amount of days off. And if it's available, they're like, yeah, cool, no problem. I'm like, cool, see ya. And then I go shoot and then I fly back home and then I get back to my desk or I edit and whatnot. So it's fun. It is a little bit more restricting because I used to just do the videography stuff full time. I'd fly out one weekend, come back on Monday, upload all of the videos and the files and whatnot for people to purchase and whatnot, and probably be in the office from Monday to Wednesday, and then fly out on Thursday and do it again. Just rinse and repeat. And that, it's exhausting, but it was fun. Yeah. It was a good experience. It was rough. There's especially like the days where like you like the national tournaments for like dance competitions. Holy shit!
Ooh. But this sounds like it would be a lot of fun.
It's fun, but
everybody dance.
Oh yeah, like I still have some like footage from like some of the cooler stuff that I've shot to save for like portfolio work and both graphics and whatnot that I've made and things of that nature, and like shows that I've directed. Like it's nice to have those things in your pocket of like experiences and work experience. So
yeah, for sure,
it's cool.
That sounds freaking cool.
yeah, it's all right. Yeah, I don't want to take up more of your time if you have stuff to do, you know, like okay. But I don't if you don't, I'm more than fine talking with you, but it's up to you. If not, we can kind of call it. I don't have like an outro or anything like that. I put all that stuff in the description. Okay. I don't know if you want to shout out anything like your Instagram or like in your
I have 2 Instagrams. Yeah. D Florian Tattoos and D Florian.
Yeah. It's like that's it.
That's it.
Go check out her stuff. It's pretty good.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks for showing up. This was awesome.
Yeah, I had a good time. I feel like I learned a lot about you, even though like we've seen each other.
Same, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I've learned a lot more. I'm like, okay, I now know who Joe is.
Yeah. It's
cool.
So I'm also a very introverted person. So like, especially like when I'm in the gym, like my head space is like very focused on what I was doing. Yeah. So there's a lot of times where like I look like I'm like zoned out or whatever. I'm deep in thought, I guess. Yeah. But
sometimes I feel that way when like I walk past you. I'm like, oh, but it's also like I can't see. Yeah. I don't have my glasses on.
Oh no.
I'm just like, is he super serious right now? No. Is he ignoring me?
No.
Like, did he not say hi? Or is he in the zone? No. I can't see.
It's almost always I'm in the zone. Like I feel bad because I feel like after the fact I recognize like what happened and I'm like, oh shit, did she just she probably thinks I'm a dick. Like, I am an asshole now. But I'm like, I'm sorry, that's not what I'm...
Yeah, so sometimes I'll just shout, I'll be like, I'm just going to be like, hey, Joe! How are you?
It's never bad for people to talk to me. I have no issues talking to anybody. I just sometimes don't look that way.
Yeah.
But
so sometimes it's easier for me to talk to you when we're outside of the
yes, yeah. Once I'm done and I'm like I'm not there like mentally, and I'm just like it's just me about to drive home singing in my car to whatever song I'm playing. But
nice.
Yeah. Thanks again.
Thank you. I had a great time. This is super cool.
Yeah. Hopefully we do it again sometime. Be awesome.
Yeah. The part two.
Part two. Yes. I'll try it. I'm gonna try it. You can hold me to it.
Okay. Perfect.